my role was mostly being a support player, and it's also what I'm good at, you know, like having the solid baseline, having good communication. Yeah, I'm generally, you know, a happy guy. Like, I would say I'm pretty optimistic. I'm never gonna be the kind of guy who completely shuts down.
Hello everyone, this is Luca from The Spike, and I'm here with Kipks after Team Liquid's loss against FUT Esports in the VCT EMEA Stage 2 playoffs. That was a high and down series, and I wanted to ask you like your first thoughts about it. What do you think went wrong?
In Haven, we knew it's their best map going into it. We knew they're 90% going to pick it, and I think we started the game good, obviously, but I think it wasn't like we were winning rounds good. I think we were playing good, but it didn't feel like we were so confident in ourselves, especially after we lost around here, around there. Like, it never felt like, oh, we were up 8-0, like we're absolutely smashing them. Like, the game, you know, we won the map, you know, like we didn't have this mindset on that map. And as soon as things started going downhill, we were feeling like we're the guys under pressure, even though we're still, you know, up many rounds. We still had decent ideas on what they're gonna do, but as soon as something happens that we didn't expect, we kind of just like, I don't know, we had this bad mindset, I guess, that we weren't ready for them to fight back, and we kind of just let them take control of the game without really showing anything we wanted to do. And Summit, I think, you know, attack side ended 6-6, but we were going into Summit with, you know, like the same bad feeling from last game. You know, losing 8-0 lead is not a good feeling, and we weren't instantly able to overcome it. And when it got to defense, it was just some things they did just got us off guard. I think at that point we were really trying to get back into the game, and it got close in the end. We had some good team play moments, some good individual moments, but yeah, we were already so many rounds down that, you know, one thing can happen and the game's over.
Can I ask you a second to get your microphone a bit farther from the mouth?
Of course.
Okay, perfect.
It's good?
Yeah, now it's good. Perfect. And actually, you talked about being under pressure despite smashing them at the start. And from the outside looking at you for playing the game, it didn't really feel like you were having like, you know, confidence issues, something like that. It was just literally like, okay, they are running them down. I was watching the chat and they were saying, okay, Liquid are smashing them. Then at some point, as you said, you just started losing confidence, and it went how it went. And the first time you said that you actually felt pressure in a match was against KC, who are playing a very aggressive game.
Mhm.
And FUT also started playing much more aggressively since they started winning rounds. And do you think that you as a team tend to suffer like aggressive teams that tend to be aggressive and play fast the game?
I think it could be a thing, but it's also situational, because while FUT and KC can both be technically categorized as aggressive teams, I would say the play styles are very different. Against KC, it's more about them creating a lot of question marks, and you never know what the next step is from them. With Footballist, it's more like, even if you have a solid idea on what they're gonna do, their micro plays and like their set XX and stuff like this is like so strong, and they have players that they will just send it in no matter what. Like, they're not afraid whatsoever. So in that sense, it's completely different to KC. And I don't know, it could be a thing that maybe against aggressive teams is harder, because I would say we're also an aggressive team. So maybe it's something that we're not as comfortable playing against as it was other teams in our group that play a more slow play style, like maybe Fnatic, maybe Giants. But yeah, like, I wouldn't say like in practice we don't struggle against this too much. I think it's more just about having confidence in our own game, like I said on Haven as well, that, you know, like once they start doing their stuff back and we kind of let them do whatever they want, it's really hard to just, you know, get back into the game.
Yeah. And actually, FUT today were playing without their coach behind the scenes because he received a suspension for today after some ranked stuff happened. And as a player, like, not having your coach behind the scenes with you, like during the process or stuff like that, does it really affect much of your performance, or do you think it's like doable to manage it?
I think it comes down to the coach and the team, what kind of players you have. In our team, for example, I do think it would have an effect, but at the same time, we have Nats Ayas, who is such an experienced player, such a good leader, that, you know, like, he would be able to fill that gap, and he already has, you know, a big responsibility in leading the team and making sure people are doing the right things. So Yeah, I think it just depends on the team, because definitely I've had previous experiences where, if we didn't have our coach for a game, or, just for some reason he couldn't help us, I think it could definitely have an effect. It's just hard to say from the outside.
Speaking about Nats, recently he had a big change in life. And I wanted to ask you, like, from the outside, because I spoke to him, but I wanted to hear a feedback from one of the teammates. Has he changed a bit since he had his kid, or has he stayed completely the same?
I think it's just the same person,
Yeah.
He's always the same, He has this baseline, that he does every day, and like he never drops below it, I would say.
Okay, so he's the same. And I wanted to have a question about you, because in a very previous interview, Lohan, your coach, said that you are the kind of player that puts the team above everything else. You put the team and then you focus on yourself. So you're kind of a nice guy to have it screams around. You keep the vibe high and stuff like that. And, young players usually have this thing where they are either too egoed and they focus a lot of their individual performance in order to show off. So it's not a very common thing to have around. And I wanted to ask you, do you think this is like something about your character, about being, cheerful, helpful with the team, and like being prioritizing them besides your individual performance?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it comes from your character, your personality outside of the game. I would just say I'm generally, a happy guy. Like, I would say I'm pretty optimistic about most things. So I'm not the guy that really tilts in a team, like even if I get really frustrated by something, I'm not gonna shut down. Like, I'm still gonna try to keep my performance up to some level. Obviously, there's gonna be games where maybe I just don't feel confidence in myself. Maybe I'm having a bad day. I don't know. Could be something, but I'm never gonna be the kind of guy who completely shuts down in a way that, it's like such a huge difference that it's gonna affect in a bad way. And in terms of putting the team ahead of me, like, I think it's partly what I said, and also partly the roles I was playing that I felt most comfortable on. Majority of my career, I played Initiator, specifically Clash Initiator, which can be played, more as a individualistic role at times. But the way I see it, the way I was taught or told to play it, I guess, in specific teams as well, was my role was mostly being a support player, and it's also what I'm good at. Like having the solid baseline, having good communication, and keeping an eye on all my teammates, like how I can always support. And it's a struggle as well for me right now, because playing smokes, because of the meta, Flash Initiators got bombed to the ground, unfortunately. There's no place in the game, basically. Sky is the only thing that maybe you can play. Smokes is not always this kind of role where you're able to just, play support, like, oh yeah, I'm there for the team. I have to have my own game as well. And it's a stylistic change for me. And you could see the difference, for example, in this game. Like, on defense side, I'm able to play my own game. Like on Summit, the last few rounds, I felt like I had a really good read on what I can do for myself and how I can play around my own site, even if I only have one teammate with me. Like it's 5v2 on site. Like I need to do something. I felt like I had the answers, but there's other times where I feel like I don't have the answers, and it's a different role. So it's still something that I've struggled to adjust to. Sometimes it just feels like there's a switch in my brain. Now I can do it, and then the next day I just like struggle with it again. Yeah, that's basically it about it.
So you had the chance to go directly to playoffs because you finished at the top of the groups, and play-ins went crazy. Actually, every team coming out from tier 2 came into the playoffs and smashed absolutely everyone else. We saw Enterprise beating Vitality today, and that was a crazy result. And I wanted to ask you, like, you're someone that spent a lot of years in tier 2. Like, has the gap always been that small, or is it something that has like shortened in the recent years, in your opinion?
I think the gap has been bigger before. I think the gap could still be bigger. To be honest, me personally, I didn't expect tier 2 teams going this far. Enterprise, I could see, easily winning their games in play-ins. I didn't have any doubts about them. But like in general, I didn't expect the tier 2 teams to do so well. Like I was really surprised. I think it just comes down to the level EMEA is as a region altogether. Because if you look at other regions, like maybe the bottom VCT teams, they have close games, they might struggle, and tier 2 teams might come out on top. But I do think the mid to higher level teams in other regions are still able to come out on top because they have more experience. better individual skill at times. Maybe some tier 2 players have better individual skill, sure, but the structure is there. And from my experience, tier 1 teams do put in more time in the game. Like some young players might still have school, people might have work, all kinds of things that you have in tier 2 that you don't need to worry about in tier 1. So I think in EMEA specifically, it's just about the level being lower this year in general, combined with, like we have some solid teams in tier 2 this year, actually. So I think it's just a combination of both.